What do you think about the concept of whiteness?
I don't know what the purpose of it is. And so, yeah, there are some white people, and there is disproportionate power. There is a sense of entitlement that a certain kind of white person has, a certain naivete. Sure, that's there from the world historical perspective. White people, these Northern and Western European people, have had a disproportionate and in many ways grievous impact upon the world, certainly. The question is whether here in 2021, with all those things having happened, the solution to that is some grand revolution in our psychosocial consciousness right now. Is that really what we need? Or can we have a more meat and potatoes aspect to things and help people who need help live in the society which, for better or for worse, these white people largely created when they started getting in ships and sailing across the ocean? And I think for a lot of people, there's a sense that somehow there needs to be some reckoning. I wonder if they wish we would all go back to living in bands of 200 or 300 people by the sides of the river. I mean, that seems to be what they want. Unfortunately, modernity developed through the actions and machinations and ravagings and rapings and pillagings of a certain kind of white person advantaged by the geography of a peninsula called Europe. That happened. But here we are now, and there's so many things that we have to do. So I think that, yeah, there is a such thing as whiteness, but the question is whether we need to decenter it to the way that we're talking about and to the degree that people are talking about decentering whiteness. And if we completely decenter whiteness, the question is, what have we got? And is that really a world that we want? Maybe we just need to go back to the way we were thinking about these things about 20 years ago, where the idea was everything white is not good. A great many things that are not white are good. And let's make sure that we pay as much attention as we can to everything that isn't white, because whiteness is not all that's good. The new idea that you decenter whiteness and stigmatize it and pretend, for example, that music theory is white, that's kabuki, or perhaps with more respect, that's religious fervor. That's not making sense of things.
Or turning up on time, or the nuclear family, or grit and determination.
Or precision, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those things, that to me was one of the most disturbing things to see, especially when it got demonized as something that the black community shouldn't aspire to, as values which no one should aspire to, and that the solution for is not to play the game well, but to rearrange the rules of the game so that people who don't play that game well can play it badly and still win. That, to me, is so pernicious. It's like turning up on time for a thing is required throughout the rest of your life. Whether that's a doctor's appointment. You've got a doctor's appointment. You have an important surgery and you rock up 2 hours late and the surgeon's on to somebody else. And you want to complain about the fact that that's structurally whiteness and I don't adhere to your concept of what being on time is. Or rules when you roll the clock forward to do with levels of poverty, black boys and black girls growing up without a father in the family. Like nuclear family, it's one of the core central supporting structures that having a good childhood that forms a robust and effective adulthood is built on top of. It actually feels to me like the sort of thing that you would slip below the surface if you wanted to make black people fail.
Yep. All of that stuff sounds like something some white supremacist in 1895 would come up with and promulgate. And then we could look back at that person now and talk about what a monster they were. And yet here's all this stuff. I think that once the religion comes into it also, in that what you're saying is clearly not an opinion. That's just logic. Anybody understands that. The idea that to be precise is white. The only thing you can get out of that whole idea that precision, that making deductions and inductions, thinking about results, et cetera, that all of this is white, is roughly that black people are supposed to just, I swear this is what people are thinking. Black people are supposed to jam and dance and have raggedy conversations where we intuit one another's feelings and
it's
reinforce
like some witch
each other.
doctor shit.
That's frankly, that's what it sounds like. Like, what are we going to do? Dance? You know, if we're not going to do real physics, I think we're supposed to just dance. And once again, that sounds like
you do dance better than white people, though.
That frankly, that is true. And I think a lot of them are thinking that, you know, they don't move as well.
No.
So we're going to do what we do, which is jam. But jamming wouldn't have created the world that we sit here saying those things in and, getting listened to. So it's just, none of it makes sense. And that's why I'm saying that all of this is a creed rather than something anybody's thought out.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.